Alright, we are loaded. Woohoo! We still got to go park somewhere and get our bills. Where do we park though? There's always that one guy that doesn't want to park properly and screws up everybody. We'll catch you later. Peace. All right, everybody, we are loaded. Let's check the weight thing here for a second. And we're good on the drives. No matter, we're gonna have to go get a cat scale. Alright, so I'm gonna take take the side roads to 476 North, Interstate 80, all the way to Hiram, Ohio. Once again, today it is March 17. The temperature here is 39 degrees. I was waiting to get my paperwork, there was a vending machine in there. And this grandma's oatmeal raisin cookie just keep calling my name. Johnny, eat me. Johnny, eat me. Johnny, come on, eat me. So I use my iWatch to pay for the vending machine, and it worked. I've never used the iWatch to pay anything, but I got it to work. Which of your kids do you call if you have a computer problem or anything electronics? Me, I call AJ. AJ is the unofficial IT person in the house. Cold beer to go. I think we'll have. Well, I like the way I did it last time. I went straight through instead of taking 22 east. But why not? Nah, that's not. I think I like it this way better. A grateful gratitude to JD of Texas for giving MJ22 Adventure donations for Bluetooth communications on their helmet. If for those of you who are subscribers of MJ22 Adventure, you know how they always say, what? What do you say? What? What? Yeah? What? What? So, I suggested that I should buy them a Bluetooth communication device so they don't have to keep yelling at each other. And JD of Texas donated $100. So JD of Texas, aka John Dolahite, thank you for your kind generosity and support. Oh, he gave it to me through Amazon gift card. So for those of you who want to chip in and help out MJ22 Adventure, either you send him directly the Amazon gift card, or you can just send it to me, since they don't really have an account for Amazon. I keep sending them mail and boxes, so it's a regular mail to the Philippines. Comes out cheaper that way. Everything in the Philippines that's imported is heavily taxed. So for most Filipinos that are living in the United States and they want to send some care packages back home, items one at a time over a period of 6 months or whatever the length of time. And then there's a what do you call a balikbayan box. Let's just say, I don't know, 23 inches in diameter of a box. Anything that you can put in that box, as long as it's not illegal in the Philippines, like firearms, bombs, you know, the normal stuff, soap, watches, shoes, clothes, spam. I don't know why Filipino love spam. I kid you not. So what we do is we buy, you know, we gather stuff in over long periods of time, and then we put that in a box. By the way, that box is a tax-free box. It is especially designed for Filipinos to send care packages home without being taxed or harassed by customs. So if you're planning to buy and send a lot of stuff, it's a cheaper way to do it instead of buying it on Amazon and then ship it over there, because oh man, I tell you, they'll tax you, I don't know, 50%, whatever. It's really expensive. And that box, it's called balikbayan box. It cost about $80, and it doesn't matter how heavy it is or how light it is. It's $80 a box. The only problem with the balikbayan box is it goes on a container and ships it in a ship. So it takes about 3 to 3.5 months to get there. That is the only drawback. Otherwise, it's reliable, very convenient. Alright, that's all I have for you at the moment. God willing, we'll see you later. As always, thank you so very much for watching. Johnny Be Good here. Peace. Holy smokies, what happened to that? Hey everybody, Johnny Be Good here. Hello and good evening, greetings. We are somewhere in Port Clinton, Ohio. Port Clinton, Ohio. The temperature here is 41 degrees, 44 miles east of Totally Due, Ohio. And this is the Thomas Edison Memorial Bridge. Our journey to Oak Creek, Wisconsin, which is 365 miles away. Today it is March 17, 2021. I suppose today will live in the JBG Travels family in infamy. As many of you probably have learned by now, that Tampers passed away somewhere around 8 to 9 o'clock or 9 to 10, something like there. To back up a little bit of a story, yesterday afternoon, Tampers was having a hard time. He was pooping a little bit of a blood, and so Jackie panicked, brought him to Milwaukee and brought him to the vet, and they confirmed that it was the same diagnosis that they had last time, and that his liver has gotten really worse. So the plan was to bring him home, which they did. Bring him home, and then somehow they were finally gonna decide to go and take him to the vet on Friday to let him rest and end his suffering, put him down. Well, Tampers decided that he had enough. So he died on his couch. And I understand about not letting animals suffer, because they're not they're not humans. They can't complain. They cannot ask for medicines, or they can't do anything about it, and rightfully so. But right now, I am just so glad that Tampers went the way he went on his terms. He hung out as hard as long as he could, and he did. I just wish I wish he could have waited, I wish I was there, but yeah, a bit selfish of me to wish for him to wait for me and prolong his suffering because of what I need. I tell you, I've been thinking about this all day long. What would I say about Tampers? He wasn't the smartest dog in the neighborhood, I tell you that. He wasn't the most obedient dog in the neighborhood as well. And if you're not careful with the garage door, he'll just bolt right out like a crotch rocket. Out he goes. And there ain't no catching him until he just decides to go home. But he always goes home. He always goes home. But I tell you what, with all that said and done, I wouldn't trade him for any dog in the world. He gave our family the experience that we will never be able to experience if he didn't come in our family, you know. Oh man, when he was new at the house, man, every time I go home, you know, he would get so excited. He would end up peeing all over me. He would forget he had to go to the bathroom. But the most that I really remember about Tampers, he had this, he would get all excited about meeting me and the kids, you know. He would run around like crazy. He would just waggle, wag his tail, and he would hug and he would embrace and all that stuff. And then once he'd settled down, he would find a corner, or he would just, from a standing position, he would just drop on the floor, take a deep breath, and just just a breath of relief, a breath of satisfaction, like Tate's home. Like, what a good life. The feeling that you could see it on his face, where he was completely comfortable, completely satisfied, completely happy. And yeah, he would always just, he had a place on the table. He had a place on the dining table. He knew exactly where he was gonna sit. Oh, he loved the barbecue. Oh man, he loved it. For those of you who are new, Tampers was the JBG Travel's official food tester, inspector. And he was never satisfied with 1 or 2 bites. For safety reason, he would eat a whole bunch. Make sure it's safe and quality control. And when I am not home, he would sleep next to Jackie. And they have their routine, But when I go home, he would sleep right next to me on the foot of the bed. Well, he started on the foot of the bed. Then, over the months and the years, he would then move up. He would inch and inch and inch, and finally he started sleeping right there on my back. If I was to face him a little bit, then he would drop to the foot of the bed. But if I had my back turned on him, he would sleep right there in my back. It was pretty hard to move because he was right there. And one of our routine was, I would get up in the middle of the morning to use the bathroom. And there he was. He'd get up and he would go to the back door of the house. He always wanted to go out and go pee himself. You know, go outside and do his thing. I do my thing. Sometimes we would both go outside in the backyard. If it was a very good summer night, you know. Yeah, both of us would go out in the backyard. Act like men. Here's something that I think I should express, and something that I should address. As many of you know, that I have posted a picture of Tampers on YouTube. It's just a picture, and a lot of you I know are aware. Many of you have commented about his passing, and you know, for a little mutt dog like him, he sure had a lot of fans around the world. I know I'm not comparing him to Beethoven or Benji or anything like that, but for our neighborhood, he was the king of the world. And that's to your credit, you know. But he had a way to dig in people's hearts, I suppose. So anyway, the point I'm trying to say is, in the comments there are mixed ideas and mixed well wishes. Oh, where he is, what he's doing after death, and all kinds of bridges, you know, the Rainbow Bridge and the afterlife and all that stuff. And I respect all of it. I do. I respect your belief. And I don't criticize your belief. But I'd like to share mine, if I may. And this is what I believe. From a biblical standpoint, the Bible does not specifically say about animals in heaven. I've listened over the years about different pastors and different people's point of view, and there are so many different ideas. But one of the couple of things that struck my mind or my heart was, heaven is, you can have everything in heaven except sin. That's it. That's the only thing that is not available in heaven, is sin. That's one way, you know. Another pastor said, well, heaven is strictly let me back up a little bit. A couple of verses in the Bible specifically says that in heaven we will be so pure, with pure joy and pure heart, and we will be experienced pure joy throughout eternity. And one of the things that is a source of joy in eternity is to worship the Lord Jesus Christ forever and ever and ever. You know, amen. We would be so engulfed, so preoccupied with that joy that you don't want anything else. You don't have time for anything else. I'm gonna cut this story in sections, and hopefully at the end of it you can put these together like a jigsaw puzzle and make a picture out of it, okay? Because I don't know if I can tell it in one solid story to make it sense. I'm not the most gifted storyteller. So another aspect is that heaven is solely reserved for the redeemed people, a redeemed soul. And I tend to agree with that. My personal belief is that when animals die, I mean, if you really think about it, if pets were to go to a pet heaven or an animal heaven, what happens to all those millions and millions of chickens and cows? Are they going to be there? That's one crowded, very crowded animal place, right? Well, if you say, well, only pets have souls, they'll be the only ones there. I don't know. I mean, who decides that? So, my personal belief is that animals do not have a soul. Once they die, they're lights out. They cease to exist. However, I firmly believe that pets, you know, especially with pets like Tampers or pets, any pets that are so intertwined in the family, so loved by the family, they will live forever in our hearts. Well, they will live in our hearts for as long as we live. That I can guarantee you that. I don't know about the afterlife. I cannot say that for certain. But I have listened enough to people that have lost their love, you know, their furry kids, even as 20, 30, 50 years ago. They still think about them. And in a sense, they live in their hearts forever. I mean, for as long as they live. I can tell you this, in the 1987 is 88, something around there, we had a German Shepherd back in the island. I've talked about this on my YouTube channel quite a bit in the past. His name was Steve. Now, Steve kind of, at that time, Steve was living in the island. I was concentrating on high school and college years in the main island. So I didn't get to see him every day. But then again, every time I would go home, man, he was just right there. But you know what I'm trying to say is, I had some strong feelings and ties with Steve, but never in the same level as Tampers. Tampers is one of those pets that are, from what I heard, that people, they have this, they plant bamboo bushes around their backyard, and to their surprise, to their regret, those bamboos, man, they will root all over the backyard, all over the neighborhood. I mean, they just, those bamboo root and bushes, they dig deep, and they just, man, they will just go all over your yard, and they are very, very extremely difficult to eradicate. And I think that's what Tampers is. Tampers was like a bamboo bush that just digs into your soul and digs in your heart. So again, the point is that I firmly believe that Tampers will always be in our hearts, in our family's hearts, for as long as we live, for as long as I have my mind. I mean, you know, having married to a wife that works at a nursing home in a dementia ward, yeah, that forever is not always true. Some of the people, they don't even recognize their own children. But according to my wife, once in a while they'll remember in a clear day an experience when they were a little kid. They'll remember clearly who's what and who's who. So that's my 2 cents, I suppose. Tampers will always be with me for as long as my mind is still clear. And I think, I know that I am a better person today because of him. Because of the experience that I have had with him. I tell you what, he surely will be missed. You know, when I was checking in today at Marigold, I suddenly realized that everybody was wearing green St. Patrick's Day today, I suppose, right? So I was kind of thinking, like, maybe I should call Jackie and have her dress up Tampers in green and do St. Patrick kind of a get up, and so when I got loaded, right as soon as I ended that video, as soon as I ended the recording, Mama calls with a very somber voice, and she asked me if I can do a FaceTime with her. And that's when I saw Tampers comfortably sleeping on his sofa. So, today they wanted to give Tampers to the SPCA, I think it's called, right? Because Jackie wants him to be cremated by himself, put in an urn, and whatever. But unfortunately, the SPCA is closed. Of all the days, the SPCA had to be closed today. Jackie and AJ could not bear the idea of picking him up. So they called Michelle. Michelle carried him, put him in a blanket, wrap him in a blanket, brought him to the vet for overnight keeping. And then they will be the one to hand him over to the SPCA. And then when they arrive at the vet, Jackie wrapped him in a blanket, but there was a little bit of a miscommunication because the vet wanted to keep Tampers in the blanket. Jackie said, "Oh no, this is Tampers' favorite blanket. I'm taking this with me." So having said that, they went home, gathered all Tampers' belongings. I tell you, I kid you not, that dog had more stuff than I do. He had more toys and more blankets and even Bumblebee. He had a Bumblebee clothes or a suit. And I guess Mama gathered all his belongings. They went to the laundromat. She washed everything, and I guess they're gonna donate most of that stuff, but they didn't want to donate it while it's unwashed. So that's what's been happening today. very difficult for me to see Tampers on FaceTime video, laying there on the couch. You know, when Steve, it was so happened that when I went home to the island one day, and then Steve was just laying there full of fleas. I mean, they were just all over him. He's been down for a couple of days or a week, and he died while I was there. And I was a bit sad, you know, but I don't know. I think I was so full of myself back then. It was one of those, I was sad for 5 seconds and then that's it, you know. But Tampers, holy smokies. It's hard. Now I know exactly what long haul Larry went through. Crazy, crazy. I know a lot of you have been asking, would we ever get another dog? The answer is probably not. Stay green, stay green. Thank you. You know, before Tampers arrived at the house, we considered ourselves not a pet people family, you know. I tell you what, when Tampers came along, yeah, I think he had a very powerful jackhammer that broke our cold hearts. Crazy, but all right. So the $1 million question is, a lot of people I always ask, is that what kind of breed was Tampers? It was a Cocker Spaniel, Shih Tzu, and something else. There was another one, I can't remember. Anyway, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you out there for all the well wishes, prayers, and and most especially for those of you who chipped in for his medical expenses. Thank you. Needless to say, Jackie's really having a very difficult time right now. And life goes on, right?